when you look at Prince Harry, I've often wondered in his darker moments whether he actually looks and thinks what he gave up. You know, it's a bit like when you meet celebrities, and as many people know, watch the channel, I've met many over the years, and I remember sort of saying to them, you know, when you've got that Oscar, that's the pinnacle moment, particularly if you're an actor in Hollywood or something like that, and then you know that, you know, you're going down a decline or, you know, that sort of thing. I remember meeting the brilliant Betty Davis years ago, and she told me a wonderful story about how she knew it was over as leading parts lady, and she had to become a character actress, even though she'd been in mega movies like The Star, and of course, you know, things like Whatever Happened to Baby Jane and All About Eve, stuff like that. She knew that it was going to be over because they brought in this reflector board and held it underneath the main spotlight every time she was in shot to make her look younger. And that really is the problem that you have. You're suddenly out of favour, you can never come back. And apparently, according to a very good source, Prince Harry's had that now realisation. And it's all down to this one particular man of how this has now, well, developed as ever. Let me explain. Hi chums, nice to see you. Thank you so much for taking the time out to join me today. Nice to meet you. If you're new, welcome. And as ever, thank you so much, as I say, for joining me. Hope you enjoy the channel. If there's anything that you like, you know, do let us know. And if you can, like and share. And if you dislike it, just, you know, yeah, bye. You know, I'm pulling your leg. I like that line, don't you? There's a famous comedian that said it though, you know, and he said, oh, you know, this person was a bit of a nuisance. He said, remember, if you're passing, keep passing. And I just thought that was great. You know, a wonderful moment, isn't it? To sort of say, look, I'm not too bothered. It's a little bit like this that's developing, and it's very sad actually. We shouldn't maybe giggle too much on this, because I do feel slightly sorry for, of course, the likes of Prince Harry and what he's now left behind. All of his own fault. I'm not taking sides. I'm not feeling sorry for him in that respect. But, you know, you look at it and you go, you must have never thought it was going to come to this, you know. There you were, one of the most famous families in the world, if not the most famous family, a loving, you know, kind family around you, knew your, shall we say, shortfalls, shortcomings, and still you decided to go on and do this, and problematic, let's be honest. Now here's where this gets really interesting, because if you are Harry, you would have thought that maybe, even no matter what you've done, you could persuade, you know, your father, His Majesty the King, to, well, let you back in. William is making sure that's not happening, but it's this man that is now the bigger problem for Harry. And I've been told, one, that Harry feels very, very sad and reflective about, because he was good friends with the international footballer David Beckham, very good friends indeed. They had a good, you know, just fun relationship, as he does with, of course, Prince William. I met David Beckham, nice bloke, whatever people think, very down to earth, and I think he did himself a lot of good taking the cue to see our late Queen, unlike many television presenters, if you remember, queued for hours with the other people, because he said to me that he met her, he just adored her. You know, he thought she'd done wonders for the country, and that was the least that he could do. So consequently, now His Majesty the King is teaming up with Mr. Beckham for a potential show about young people for football and getting them into something and off the streets and, you know, that type of thing. A worthwhile course, particularly we think if you get kids when they're young, and particularly with somebody of Beckham's background that people are interested in, that works definitely in your favour. Now, apparently this is just at the very early stages, and of course this could have easily been something that could have been incorporated into the likes of the Invictus and all that sort of stuff. Now, as I told you, the problem with the Invictus is that, you know, supposedly in 18 months' time, it's going to be coming over here to Birmingham. And I've been told from an excellent source that really, you know, they're rather hoping that the proper royal family will come on board and help support it. That would get international eyeballs. At this point, Meghan Markle with her jam making and Prince Harry with, of course, the disgraceful behaviour that's followed suit is not necessarily going to cut it. It's difficult to see, isn't it, where Harry goes from here. But as he keeps pointing out, whether it's been forced by his wife, Meghan Markle, that, you know, he's happier than he's ever been, she keeps saying it, but really his eyes don't say it. And I was told from a source that was working with him on the Polo show for Netflix that for no apparent reason he would slump into very deep and dark sort of depressions, and, you know, nothing could pull him around. And that really is very worrying, because that's a situation that doesn't go away and obviously going to be reoccurring on a regular basis. Now, of course, with things like this, with Beckham and the King and William thriving and enjoying life, as Harry famously said, they're trapped. But truly, who's trapped, honestly, now? Neil Sean, Kensington, London.